Today's First Alert afternoon weather update is brought to you by Lockhart Roofing.
Happy Wednesday afternoon, everyone. Meteorologist Stone Shaver here live for your First Alert weather live stream here in our afternoon. I want to thank everyone for joining me. Real quick, I do have to see if I can get this fixed. We are having a little bit of a technical difficulty with something. I don't quite know why that's not working real quick. Let me see if I can fix it. Our weather graphics deciding they don't want to be picked up right now. Why is that? I don't know. Something is missing here. That is an issue. Okay, well, we'll have to do this for now. Boom. So you're going to get this screen for the day until I can figure out why that isn't working. But again, thank you for everyone for joining me. We'll start off looking at our sky tracker, where there is some rain chances moving through the region. We do see, especially north of the bay, towards Roscommon and Ogama counties. Those are the areas right now seeing some consistent rain. I know areas like Owasso may have had some very quick light rain, but it was enough to be an annoyance here on our Wednesday afternoon. So just something there that we'll have to just keep an eye on for the rest of the day, is just these light rain chances moving through the state, and hopefully we'll stay dry later in the day. This isn't our only rain chance though. You've probably been hearing we'll have more rain chances on Friday, and then we'll have another chance of rain move itself in as we get through the weekend, and that could become a snow chance. I know that obviously is hurting a few people hearing that snow chance possible as we get into the weekend. Obviously with that, how much of it's going to stick, I think is the biggest question. But we take a look outside right now at our US 10 camera. What you see is, well, you had that cloud cover, maybe some rain in this area a little bit ago, but at this point is on the drier side of things, and that should continue over the next couple of hours. Again, you may catch a stray shower, but for the most part should be dry. Then we look down towards downtown Saginaw, where, again, very similar skies. You just have these sort of gray skies. The sun is trying to peek through a little bit on the top left side of our screens there. It's not totally together, but for the most part, mostly cloudy skies. And then, obviously, this is really what we're seeing for many areas when it comes to that cloud cover. It's similar to what we see in at US 10, Midland, Flint, and in Saginaw. Now, back to our temperatures across the region, a little cooler there to the north. You got 43 at Holton Lake, 48 in West Branch, getting closer to the shoreline, some of those cities at 46. Then as you move to the south, you warm up just a tad bit more. It's not by much, only a few degrees, 51 to 50, even 52 in Saginaw, Flint, and Midland. You have Mount Pleasant also at 52. Then you'll, again, 40s there in the northern portions of the Thumb, Huron County, 47 Bad Axe, 49 Harbor Beach, 47 in Port Hope. So similar to what we're going to see probably over the next day or so. I will say that changes into the weekend, and even long term may end up being a bigger change in our highs for the afternoon. We could be looking at a drop back into the 40s for some of our highs. Now, one of the big things for this weekend was definitely the winds. The wind is picked up here in about the last hour to 2 hours. Some areas it's been a little bit earlier than that, but we're seeing wind out of the north-northwest at 15 to 25 miles per hour. So definitely breezy out there. And when we look at wind gusts, we did have a report of 40 miles per hour here in Saginaw. That has now dropped down to 31 miles per hour. Flint, though, you can see you're close to 40 at 38 miles per hour. Mount Pleasant at 25. So lots of areas seeing wind gusts up to 25 to, we'll go 40 miles per hour, so definitely noticeable. If you have any outdoor decorations, I've seen a few Christmas decorations already going up. Maybe you hadn't had time to put away those Halloween decorations. Make sure they're still in place with these strong wind gusts. There's definitely a possibility that they'll blow away in your location. And then as we get through the rest of our next 12 hours, the nice thing is it does look like the wind will calm down as we get through the rest of the afternoon. By about 5 to 6 p.m., I think wind will be out of the north-northwest at 15 to 25 miles per hour, then through the night at 10 to 15 miles per hour. So definitely not as strong as what we're having this afternoon. Still noticeable, though. I don't think we really get rid of wind through much of the rest of the week. We're actually going to see winds pick up later in the week. That's going to be Friday into Saturday. So if you're someone that doesn't like those wind gusts up to 25 to 35 miles per hour, maybe not quite the week for you in terms of that. And obviously, again, we'll have a system that brings a rain and snow chance later into the week. Now, as we look at our lows for tonight, it is a cooler one. It's mid to lower 30s. You have a few 20s possible in there. Similar to what we had over the weekend. We had 20s and lower 30s. And Monday into last night, we had temperatures just a little bit warmer. That was just because of that sort of south-southwest wind that we'd been seeing. But that quickly started to change, and now we're seeing again that northwest wind that that factors into our temperatures, setting up just a little bit cooler as we get through tonight into tomorrow. And then our highs for Thursday, well, they're going to be showing upper 40s and lower 50s, very similar to what we have for today. And again, it looks like we'll continue that trend for Friday. It's past the weekend. I think we could start to see some change within our temperatures, and that could be something we see at least for the next week after the weekend of some cooler temperatures. Now, hour by hour shows that that isolated rain chance looks to move out for the most of mid-Michigan through about 5 p.m. You may catch some lake effect rain beyond 5 p.m. in our northern counties of mid-Michigan. That's Ogama, Roscommon counties out towards Holton Lake, West Branch. Those will be areas, even if as far south as Gladwin, I think in Standish, you may catch a stray lake effect isolated shower. But for the most part, we should be dry. Again, just clouds in and out. Continuing to see those isolated lake effect rain chances up there to our northern counties. And then we should dry off through a majority of the night. We do see a little bit of a wind shift to be more out of the west. So that, I think, will make a difference for that lake effect rain chance that we have today. That's why we don't see as much tomorrow. This is at 10 a.m., not seeing much of that lake effect rain. It's late into the afternoon. We'll start to see cloud cover rebuild itself over much, if not all of mid-Michigan, and that's ahead of another low-pressure system, cold front, that's going to move in late Thursday into Friday morning and give us a rain chance as you're waking up on Friday. It's pretty similar to what we had on Monday. I think this is a little bit more widespread than what we had for Monday. Definitely going to give some more consistent rain than what we had then. And it looks like by about, I'd say 10 a.m., most of that rain should be out of mid-Michigan, and we'll end up being in the dry slot of that low pressure system through the afternoon. So we may end up seeing some sunshine. You'll have drier conditions. So if you have Friday plans, obviously we continue Friday Night Lights. We're on to the next round of playoffs, teams trying to keep their seasons alive. You may not have as much of that rain to have to contend with as you're getting out for those Friday Night Lights games. I think the one thing you will be dealing with is winds. It looks like strong winds carry over from Friday into Saturday. I'll have more details on that here in just a little bit. But as we look at our 7-day forecast, before we take a break here, what we can see is you do have that isolated rain chance today. We'll have cloud cover tomorrow. Another sort of warmer day Friday. And again, I think that's mostly because we see a warm front with that low pressure system bring in some warmer air. And that's going to end up giving us those mid to upper 50s possibly on Friday. But then it also brings in some colder air, and that's why we start to see highs drop into the 40s and the 30s as we get through the weekend into the start of next week, and that's why we also start to see chances of rain and snow get added into our forecast. Obviously, Sunday looks to be a day we may have to just keep an eye out for more of that snow being consistent at times. I'll say this probably a bunch here in this stream. You're going to probably get sick of it, but I don't know how much accumulations we're going to see. We're still seeing ground temperatures in the 50s, so most of that snow will melt. But on your cars, on sidewalks, on your porch as you're taking your dog out in the morning, or maybe you're getting ready for school, even on Monday, you may have some snow on those surfaces. But I think for the most part, it's going to struggle. And again, it's supposed to be above freezing, so any snow that does fall and want to stick, it should have that possibility of melting. This doesn't look to be anything that really carries over long term, but there could be some areas. We're not going to count that out. And again, I'll have more details on that here in just a second, but I do need to take a quick break. Once I come back from that break, I'll be taking a look at that snow chance, at stronger winds, also out towards next week when it comes to temperatures and precipitation chances, so make sure you stay right here. Well, welcome back, everyone. Meteorologist Stone Schaefer here. Thanks for everyone that has joined in here on our Wednesday 2 p.m. First Alert Weather live stream. Again, as always, I didn't mention this at the start of the stream. If you have any questions, head over to our Facebook page at WNEM TV5 News. There, I'll try to answer any questions that you may have. I do apologize if I miss your question. I don't always get the time to look at your chat, but I try my best to as we get through these 2 p.m. Live streams. So we're going to take a look at wind. I want to just look at our wind gust here over the next couple of days to start off the second half of our 2 p.m. live stream, because again, it is noticeable, and I know people don't like it to be that windy. You obviously risk losing power in some areas. Actually, let's take a look at that real quick. Let's see if we have any power outages reported across mid-Michigan. It does look like there's an area south of Owasso heading towards sort of Bennington Township, and then not quite far enough south to be into Morris, but Shiawassee County, really the heart of Shiawassee County there. Looks like 226 customers impacted by a power outage there. So hopefully you can get that power back soon. And is there any other areas that we're seeing right now? Maybe just west of Midland there, 71 customers impacted by power outages. And then looks like north of Clare is another area. This is something that you'll have to monitor through the remainder of the day, just with these strong winds that we have going on right now. Definitely could make that impact. The one nice thing about this, really the rest of the day, is the wind should continue to calm down. This is by 10 p.m., seeing our wind gusts up to 15 to 20 miles per hour. So again, it's still noticeable, but nowhere near as strong as what we had in the early afternoon into mid-afternoon, and not as strong as maybe what we'll see into Friday. Now, as we get into Thursday morning, this looks to be the calmer period. It will pick back up as we get into Thursday afternoon. Wind gusts out of the south-southwest at 15 to, we'll say 25, well, let's say 15 to 20 miles per hour. 25, probably a little bit too high there for wind, but definitely noticeable as you're getting out and about. And then Friday, we have that low pressure system. We'll have a front move through, maybe a warm and a cold front. So that's going to end up picking up our wind as we're really going through a majority of our Friday. This is Friday morning, 5 a.m. You're getting ready, you're waking up for school, work, just your normal Friday routine. It's going to be wind gusts out of the south-southwest at 25 to 30 miles per hour. And then into the afternoon, this is 2 p.m., seeing wind gusts up to 25 to 35 miles per hour. So we're not done with the wind for this week. It's definitely going to be another sort of breezy end of the week and / weekend. We'll see how things continue to develop, but I do think Saturday still sees a wind gust up to 25 miles per hour. We see that here on our forecasted gusts. Now, it's sort of been the hot topic here over the last couple of days, really starting Monday. You've been starting to hear that sort of rumor, if you've been paying attention, that, hey, some snow is on the way or could be on the way. So that's why we're first alerting you here for the TV5 First Alert Weather Team to the first snowflakes of the season. We have that potential of seeing snow this week. It looks to be Saturday night into Sunday, and then on and off Sunday night. We'll see how temperatures set up. There's still some things that need to be worked out with this snow chance, especially that low pressure system location. If it's either farther north or farther south, that makes a big difference for us here as we get through the next couple of days. What is likely this weekend when it comes to the snow? Well, snow showers picking up Saturday night as temperatures fall to near or below freezing. I think most people have been seeing that. It's looking like 20s, lower 30s, below that freezing mark for late Saturday into Sunday. I think what is possible is going to be that light coating of measurable snow, especially on cars, your patio, furniture, decks, bushes out front of your house. Again, I think the cars is going to be the big one because that will have some impact. You may have to scrape the cars off of that snow as you're heading off to whatever you're going to be doing on a Sunday morning. So just be prepared for that. I think that what's unlikely is significant accumulations in icy roads. Again, our ground temperatures still pretty warm, upper 40s, lower 50s. There's still some time that could change. Obviously, we'll get some colder days here. We'll get some cloud cover. That could have enough impact. I wouldn't count out some low-lying areas that, hey, if it gets cold enough here over the next couple of days, you may end up getting some light accumulations. But I think it's pretty unlikely at this point that we see sort of widespread accumulations on the ground. Just be prepared, again, as you're heading off. Maybe you're going to church Sunday morning. You're just hanging out with family. That your car could have some light accumulations of snow. Obviously, your patio, maybe you're letting the dog out, you'll notice that snow. Just decks in general would be those areas that could see that accumulation of snow as we head through Saturday night into Sunday morning. Now, looking at our hour by hour, we're going to start this midday Saturday just because, again, there isn't much of a rain chance for Friday. We're going to be too warm. That should be mostly rain. And we can see there's going to be a low pressure system that moves itself in from the west. And as early as, I'd say, 6, 7, 8 p.m. we're going to see that chance of rain that at that point, if we're cool enough, could start to transition into snow. Maybe even some mixed precip possible. Not going to count that out. We're just at that point. It won't be very large mixed precip, but I think enough you may notice it on some locations. And again, we can see that snow continuing through Saturday night into Sunday morning, and by 5 a.m. Sunday could be mostly snow through mid-Michigan. Again, I highlighted this earlier, though. It is going to matter where that low pressure system sets up. Right now, it's really maybe just south of us in this location. If it's north, if that low pressure system's maybe up closer to Roscommon County, we may be more on the rain side, the warmer side of that low pressure system. If it's farther south, we end up maybe getting lighter snow chances as we get through Saturday into Sunday. But definitely that possibility. We'll continue to monitor forecasting models to see how they sort of adapt with that low, and eventually we'll see that low pressure system moving its way in, and we'll have probably a better idea of exactly where it wants to set up and how that will impact our forecasts with the snow or rain as we get through Saturday into Sunday. And then as we get through Sunday afternoon, it's just lake effect snow. As that low pressure system starts to pull to the east, it changes our wind direction. Our winds will be from the west, southwest, and that wind will help create that lake effect snow off of the bay and then off of Lake Michigan if it can set up just right. And that's what's going to end up giving us more snow chances as we get through Sunday into Monday. That will be a little bit more inconsistent, I think, at this point, and temperatures will still need to be sort of monitored because it could be warm enough where that turns mostly into rain as it starts to fall. So that would be the biggest question for Monday if we see any more additional snow is what did temperatures set up like as we get through sort of that midweek or start of the week time frame. And then by Tuesday, it does look like most of that chance moves out. Definitely could still see some, though, lake effect rain / snow even lingering into Tuesday. Again, that would just become even more maybe inconsistent than what we could see for Sunday into Monday. And did want to quickly point out how close is this snow to our last 5 years when it comes to measurable snowfall. And what we see is Saginaw for the last 5 years has been right around November 1st, November to November 15th. Last year was obviously a very late year. For the last 5 years, we had our first measurable snow November 30th. But really from 2023 to 2022, we're really right on par with that. This is going to be November 8th / 9th. So right where we've been typically seeing that first snow outside of, again, last year, where it was sort of a later chance. And Flint's very similar. That first snow right around November 13th, 14th, 15th. Obviously 2023 was the end of October, a Halloween snow. But definitely what we've been seeing of late when it comes to traceable snow amounts, or measurable snow amounts, I should say, for this time of year. And again, much of it's not going to stick. And again, here's your averages. 5-year average for Saginaw is November 12th. So again, we're just about a few days earlier than that, which obviously can happen. Our earliest was October 12th in 2006 in Saginaw, was October 12th as well in Flint. And then the latest snow was December 20th and the 19th in 1948 in both of those cities. So we're really just right on par, I think, for what we typically see for those snow amounts. Now, quickly, as we get to the end of the stream here, I did want to look at our precipitation outlook for the next week. Again, Wednesdays is when the Climate Prediction Center does update their precipitation outlook. And what we see is Michigan is starting to fall in that below normal precipitation. We'll see how things change with this. Again, there could be some lake effect snow and lake effect rain chances that start the week, so that may impact how this ends up turning out. And maybe some of that lake effect snow isn't being sort of considered for this forecast, but even that lake effect rain / snow isn't going to be that much. Like I mentioned before, it might be inconsistent, so that could end up playing into the hand of this sort of below normal precipitation percentage that we're seeing at least through southern Michigan. Now, in terms of temperatures, you've probably been hearing about it. Lots of people have been talking about it. We just have this large area of cold air that it's moving its way into much of the United States, including us. You're looking at temperatures down in Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, dropping pretty far here over the next couple of days. In terms for us, again, the Climate Prediction Center does have below average chances of being below our average. I do want to highlight average is in the 40s by next week. So we're seeing 30s at least to start the week. When we look at our 7-day forecast, that's what we see. Again, 50s and 40s for today, tomorrow, Friday, Saturday. It's late Saturday into Sunday when we have that low pressure system. It's going to bring in some colder air. The jet stream is going to set up to also help with all that movement of cold air to the south. And that gives us temperatures highs in the 30s for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. It also gives us that rain snow chance and lake effect rain snow chance from Sunday, Monday into Tuesday. But with that, I don't see any questions in our chat. I want to thank everyone for joining me here today. As always, hopefully you have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. Hopefully you can enjoy the weather for the rest of the week. I know we have some rain chances and then obviously snow, and people don't want that, but it is that time of year. We're just getting closer and closer to seeing more of that snow as we get here over the next couple of weeks.
Thank you for joining us. Today's stream has been brought to you by Lockhart Roofing.